Well, you know, as Oldsmar eyes growth, it is already a long way from where it started more than 100 years ago when one of America's first car makers started transforming this tiny town at the top of Tampa Bay. Today, the car company he created, it might be history, but his legacy lives on. And good news, a lot of his cars still on the road here too. I took a drive around with a great-grandson of the man who put the olds in Oldsmar. What do you think?
Beautiful car.
Do you want to go for a ride?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
That's what I want to hear. Hit it. We've even got a driver. You ready, John?
We call them chauffeurs.
Your great-grandfather really was a major contributor to the American automotive industry. Henry Ford gets all the credit, I feel.
He did, but I mean, Henry took the same idea and turned it into something that would come together with a car at the end. But he welcomed Henry Ford into the business. They were friends.
In fact, it was R.E. Olds who created and first patented the assembly line, making Oldsmobile the top-selling American car company by 1903. By the time Henry Ford figured out how to make it move a decade later, Olds was already eyeing his next big idea. Creating a town at the top of Tampa Bay, 37,000 acres and a vision. He called it R.E. Olds on the Bay, what would eventually become Oldsmar. In driving around with his great-grandson, Tom Rowe.
How Florida is this? We started out with sun and now we're
getting drizzled out.
in a convertible. Yeah.
Right.
Dodging raindrops in this classic Olds 442, I did not expect to learn this.
You said growing up you didn't know that Oldsmar even existed?
The only reason any of us, the great-grandchildren, can come up with a reason is that maybe of all the businesses he had, which did very well, this might have been considered as a failure.
A failure in terms of his original idea of what he wanted it to be?
The concept, because he started it in 16 and then turned around and there was a hurricane in 21 that came through and wiped out most of what he had done. He lost $3.5 million on the investment. So I think the family got together and said, let's never discuss Oldsmar. And as it turns out, Olds is gone. This is actually his legacy. That's the irony of it. Who knew?
What do you think great-granddad would think of Oldsmar today?
Oh, he'd be impressed.
I love that. Who knew? Special thanks to Tom for driving around with us, but more importantly, thank you to the man who was driving us around. I've got him here today with me, John Spinella. He is the president of the Olds Club of Florida. You guys are carrying on the heritage of Olds and Oldsmobile, and you guys have a big event coming up, right?
We do. We have our 45th annual BOPC show, Buick, Oldsmobile, Pontiac, Cadillac. And it's unfortunately, it's not going to be in Oldsmar. It's going to be more centrally located in the state in Auburndale. But it's downtown City Park this Saturday, the 28th. And last year we had about 170 cars registered, so it's a good show. We've got vendors, small swap meet, all kinds of fun, all kinds of different cars, and this is just a small portion.
We see some of your friends joined you out here today with some fantastic looking classic cars. If you could have heard the sound of them all pulling up earlier, but we thank all of them for coming out, and we thank you for being a part of this and highlighting the history here of Oldsmar. Thanks, John. Yep.